Hey guys, I'm JanetOnOccasion, and today we're playing another Total War Warhammer II Battle Replay. This one is particularly ridiculous. That's right, it's it's just mad, right? It's Skaven versus Skaven. It's Pugnobon versus Rigson. So yeah, Pugnobon. I'm not sure if it's Pugnobon or Pugnobon. I don't know. Is he French? I don't know. I don't know Pugnobon. I don't know. I'm gonna say Pugnobon though, because it seems the easiest. So anyway, yeah. So here. Lots and lots of rats, obviously. So I'm going to go over some highlights, because it's mostly clan rats and slaves and things, you know, the usual chaff, but Doom Wheel, very, very useful. Warplock Jezzails, as well as the Natty Bubo Sharpshooters, that of course, they're invisible, right? They have Stalk and Snipe, so unless you get on top of them, you're not going to be able to see them, right? They're going to be hidden. So that is really, really useful. So it's kind of an obvious one to pick, which is why there are some over here too. Yeah, both of them decided to bring that, which makes sense. They're best for countering other artillery, you know. They're just the best unit for that, being invisible. So very, very nice. Over here, though, Queek Headtaker and a Plague Priest. So Queek Headtaker, he's going to be able to fight off things very easily in melee. There's nothing that can really compete with him. One-on-one. There really isn't. He's the best single fighter. But, of course, there is always a risk of him being shot to pieces. So yeah, that's a bit of a problem. But with all that armor, he can do very, very well. Also here, Plague Priest. Yeah, he can summon more units. He can use Wither to lower armor, which is very nice. And seeing as how this isn't a big Storm Vermin heavy army, he's got counters to them though. He's got counters to them. Now if we look at Rigson's army, so he's actually gone a bit more elite with his infantry. Actually a lot more elite. You can see he's still got the Natty Bubo Sharpshooters. But he also has plenty of Storm Vermin and Plague Monks dotted around, so some very expensive things. Also, he's just gone with Lord Skrolk, so he does have the ability to summon more units in, but it's his Lord doing it. So I kind of like that, splitting it up between Queek and a Plague Priest, because it means there's not one single target that can get gunned down. It means that Skrolk has to sit back for quite some time. He can't really risk moving forward and getting shot at. So yeah, a lot more expensive units in here, including Blight Scout's Plague Pack, and there's the Council Guard as well, that of course are unbreakable, which is very handy. But Pugnobon does have these two as well. He's got a couple of Death Runners, and these guys will prove vital. And it's also super useful to have the Death Runners when there's a bunch of Storm Vermin kicking around. So some useful stuff on both sides here, but both quite different. Still a lot of Jezzails, because Jezzails are just that useful, you know, they're great counters to artillery and to other Jezzails. But here, you can see these Natty Bubo Sharpshooters have been spotted, and that is a real problem. Because over here, it's just some Warplock Jezzails getting shot at. The Natty Bubo Sharpshooters are totally fine. But over here, they're getting shot because the Death Runners have spotted them. Which is amazing. So just having Death Runners in the back, it just lets you see the Natty Bubo Sharpshooters, and it means that they are a target. And getting rid of them early, it just means that you have that constant hindrance of, you know, knowing there's something invisible on the map that can kill anything of yours quite easily. They're going to be gone, and that is a huge gain for Pugnobon early. Absolutely massive. So now you can see the Doom Wheel is going to start. Oh, nope, he's holding back for now. He will start pushing out in a second. And over here, some of the Jezzails really need to move back, because these Skaven slaves will be able to beat them up in melee. They really will. There's just so many of them. So here you can see clan rats are pushing in to try and block their way. More Skaven slaves pushing in. So yeah, they're getting pushed back, and Warplock Jezzails can get out of there. But Natty Bubo Sharpshooters in a lot of trouble. They are very, very injured. So all the units are pushing up, and the Doom Wheel actually going straight for the Blight Scout's Plague Pack. But that is actually a bit of a tough one, because these guys have huge weapon strength, load of armor piercing. They will actually do a ton of work to the Doom Wheel. So the Doom Wheel, you really want into things like the Storm Vermin that don't have a lot of armor piercing, because you can still get that really good armor piercing yourself into those troops, and you can do a lot of damage. But here, you can see they are not competing well. The Doom Wheel is getting completely slaughtered by these Blight Scouts Plague Pack. This is incredibly cost effective for Rigson here. So this is exactly what Pugnobon need to avoid, but it's what he went for. So that was a real risk. That was a real gamble throwing the Doom Wheel in there. But he sees the error of his ways and starts pushing away. So he can see the Jezzails still firing away. But over here, the Death Runners did get dealt with. So Lord Skrolk did win out with help some clan rats, and the Natty Bubo Sharpshooters are pushing back up, and they need to be dealt with. They really do, but they're not hidden right now, so they can still get shot at. Over here, a bit of a mistake. Wither was used on Skaven slaves, so clearly he clicked on the wrong banner, and the Skaven slaves ran away with a very useful spell that would have been very handy over here. So that is a pity. But you can see the Doom Wheel's doing a great job dealing with a load of these Plague Monks, because they don't have a lot of armor piercing, they don't have anti-large, they have anti-infantry, which isn't going to help against the Doom Wheel. So this is the perfect place for the Doom Wheel, not against these units. Death Runners, though, in the back, It's going to be alright against, you know, the Council Guard, but again, the Blight Scab's Plague Pack, they just pack a punch. They pack a serious punch, and with such flimsy units in the Death Runners, you know, these guys aren't relying on armor. It's really the heavily armored units you want the Death Runners on. So, a bit of a pity for those Death Runners, but this stuff has been whittled down. You can see the infantry of Rigson is getting dealt with. You know, a lot of these are quite expensive, but they are getting dealt with. Pugnobon's doing rather well here. The Gisele's getting some really good work in some very expensive units, but some units are starting to push into the back. Here you can see there's some Storm Vermin right in the back. And this is very bad. These need to get shot at quickly. And here, the Doom Wheel needs to run in, pin these guys down, and the Blight Scab's Plague Pack, you just need to throw cheap units at them. Because they have no armor. It's not armor that keeps them going, so you can afford to throw cheap units at them. They will get whittled down. You know, the more expensive the thing that the Blight Scab's Plague Pack, it's such a tongue twister, guys. The more expensive thing they're fighting, the more cost effective it is for them. You throw a load of cheap stuff at them, they're still going to take just as much damage from something cheap as something expensive. But they're not going to be able to get, you know, the value in kind, because they're going to be fighting something that isn't worth their time fighting, you know. So here, this is very nice. Summoned Clan Rats will do great over here. The Doom Wheel doing fine, dealing with the Storm Vermin. Queek is going to deal with Storm Vermin very successfully, and all the guns are still firing at some pretty vital things, such as Lord Skrull. He is getting dealt with very quickly, and that is very bad. But you can see this flank, Rigson is winning. He has got all these Plague Monks pushing in, which is a real problem for Pugnobon. He's got a lot of artillery, but he's running out of his frontline troops. So over here, you can see Plague Monks are busy fighting a ton of Clan Rats, but the Doom Wheel is going to come in to help, and that is vital. You've got to break some of these units and free up more infantry. So more infantry is starting to return, but there's a big clump of Rigson's troops here. They're going to be pushing in and getting on top of a lot of the artillery, and that is not good. You really want to keep these Giselles online because there's still a lot of pretty expensive units that need to get shot at. So over here, Doom Wheel running into a bunch of Plague Monks. This is brilliant. Also, Storm Vermin, again, fantastic. Storm Vermin, though, very healthy still on this flank. That is pretty rough, but the Doom Wheel is on top of it. Plague Priest starting to run in. Queek is in the thick of things. But over here, these Blight Scab's Plague Pack, they were left to their own devices and just left to kill the Wartlock Giselles. I'm not sure why. I'm really not sure what Pugnobon was thinking there. You know, running all his units back that way. He's just thrown away these Wartlock Giselles that have a ton of ammunition left. So that is a real pity. Over here, Natibubo Sharpshooters, they're kind of in the thick of things. They need to pull out as well. They could even pull out and start shooting at the Plague Pack. So that way, these guys might return. You know, if you could break the Plague Pack and stop them chasing. But it's a bit late for that now. It's a bit late for that. Oof. So anyway, over here, Lee Bubonicus on the Doom Wheel. Very, very good. So Skrulk has, of course, come back, and he is doing some serious work. That Doom Wheel with the Lee Bubonicus is going to make him pretty useless. You know, he's going to survive it, but he's going to have such a little amount of health. As soon as he charges in, anything gets a good hit on him, and he's just going to run away. Okay, he's going to run away. Look at that leadership. It is not good. The Doom Wheel is screwed here. So over here as well, Wartlock Giselles. They were getting chased off, but suddenly the Plague Monks changed their mind. And you could have killed them so quickly. So, real mistake by Rigson to let these Wartlock Giselles get back online. You really don't want that. But I guess Rigson was thinking, this is basically over for him. He doesn't have much left. Skrull is so injured, there's not a lot he can do. He needs to bring all of his forces back, because he does have a lot of forces that he can bring back into this fight. So over here you can see Doom Wheel has been dealt with, Rod of Corruption being used to deal with these few Clan Rats, and Plague Monks were summoned. So Rigson is on top of things, and he is getting a lot of bodies into here all of a sudden. And if you look, Pugnobon's forces are actually all pretty weak right now. You know, it's all Clan Rats, and they're mostly horribly hurt. They're not going to stick around for very long. There are some Death Runners as well, but I mean, Plague Monks are good against everything that is left here. And there isn't much left. Although there's a lot more banners kicking around for Pugnobon, it's Rigson that has the strength here all of a sudden. I mean, not so much for Queek. Queek is, yeah, Queek is still in very, very good shape. So is the Plague Priest, to be honest. So those two are a bit of a pain, but in terms of infantry, Rigson has suddenly got the advantage. You know, all of Pugnobon's forces are running away. He does have some Natibubo Sharpshooters still available. He does have the Wartlock Giselles over there still available, but they're not going to get many shots off before they start getting chased down by any of these units can chase them down pretty happily. So here's Plague Priest trying to chase, and more Plague Monks have been summoned by Skrulk. And that, again, is super deadly. They're going to be able to get some good work into Queek. Even though Queek has a lot of armor, that anti-infantry will mean they will get some good hits on him. So Queek is trying to just keep running away. And here, the Plague Priest actually got broken. So Pugnobon has lost his Plague Priest for now. But it looks like Rigson is far more interested in making sure that Queek doesn't live here. So a load of units are starting to fall back. And because the Plague Priest can't keep chasing Skrolk. Skrolk is a little bit safer, but he is taking some damage. He is taking some damage from the artillery. Natty Bubo sharpshooters are determined to try and finish him off, so they are staying in combat with all these guys. If it just means getting a few hits in, and Skrolk did break, but not before Queek took a big old leap Bubonicus, and surrounded by anti-infantry and huge armor piercing, he just got completely crushed. Queek caught out on his own against all that. He got completely wrecked. Pretty brutal. So Queek is gone. So Pugnobon's just lost his lord, and at least he does have his Plague Priest back. And Skrolk is gone now. So Pugnobon does have the advantage in terms of leadership, but when you look at the infantry that is left, he doesn't have much. I think this is it. Yeah, he has that. And, of course, the Wartburg Giselles in the back. Everything else is broken. Everything else is broken. This is all he's... Oh, he's got these clan rats. So he's got what? Clan rat spears, clan rat spears, clan rats, death runners, and a Plague Priest. That's all he has left. And when you look at what he's facing now, Rigson has a ton of infantry left, but a lot of them are pretty injured. A lot of them are pretty damn injured. So it wouldn't take a huge amount to break these guys, you know, it wouldn't take much. But sadly the Doom Wheel's gone. That Doom Wheel would have been great right now. Terra would have won over so easily, you know, having these guys run in, Doom Wheel charging in the back. These guys would break almost immediately, but that's not an option anymore. That Doom Wheel got focused down, that Liber Bubonicus, which, you know, would have been great to use on a Lord or Hero. Just getting rid of that Doom Wheel was huge. That was so vital to shut down that Doom Wheel. And sadly, the Doom Wheel initially attacking the Blightscab's Plague Pack, that was really bad for it. That was really bad for it. It just let that Doom Wheel get damaged too much. So now units are charging in. Wither is about to get used. And here, it doesn't have the best effect because none of these units really rely on armor, apart from these Storm Vermin that still have 60, but I mean, it's only the one unit Storm Vermin. Wither isn't really having a big effect on what remains, but that's the only option he had. That's the only spell he had left, so he may as well have used it. And sadly, these clan rats aren't holding, and yeah, even with the Death Runners in here, I mean, the Plague Priest just isn't doing enough damage to this stuff, and it's just going to be a case of Pugnobon's forces breaking. Rigson somehow managed to turn that around. It was looking really bad for him at the start. Looking absolutely terrible. But I think so much of that was basically... It was the Doom Wheel, guys. It was the Doom Wheel. Just that Doom Wheel getting taken out, I think, was the worst thing that could happen to Pugnobon there. It was still so important. But I can see why you'd get complacent. It looked like Rigson was done. It really looked like he was done. Skrolk was running away, and so much of the infantry was just completely decimated. But somehow he just managed to pull it back. He managed to pull it back. But that's the thing with Skaven. They come back all the time. They're always coming back. And weirdly, the fact that Pugnobon was able to keep Queek and the Plague Priest near his forces, it meant they took more damage before they'd break, because encouragement was keeping them in the fight a bit longer. Whereas for Rigson, Lord Skrolk was in the back of the map for half of it, so these guys would break a lot quicker. So it seemed like Pugnobon had the advantage with a load of Rigson's forces constantly fleeing, but it didn't matter because they'd just come back, you know? So yeah, it made Pugnobon a bit complacent, I think. I think that might have been what happened, but yeah, the Doom Wheel would have just been so vital, especially against the sorts of units that you can see did a great job. 220, 183, and 193 kills. And these are all units that the Doom Wheel could have decimated. Yep, that's tough. It was all about the Doom Wheel, guys. But yeah, both brilliant builds, and I loved how they each had something that could deal with the other one really cleverly and really well, try and get that edge. You know, they both tried to go for the invisible sharpshooting, but Pugnobon was able to spot them early and wipe out Rigson's Natty Bubo sharpshooters, which is really clever to make sure you've got something that can scout them out early so they aren't a problem, you know, so you can retain your advantage. Also, going with much more elite infantry, obviously you can see the infantry just decimated the front line of Pugnobon, but the Doom Wheel was a good counter for that, so they each had ways to deal with each other, which made this really interesting. So guys, if you enjoyed this as much as I did, please do comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good day, guys.